This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Well, hello and welcome to the Research Talks here from Stockbox with Alan Green. Alan, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Mark. It's been a busy week, and the weather's played its part again this week, as ever.
Well, yes, indeed. I know we did have a bit of a break, as if it was looking like it was getting out a lovely day. I think it was Thursday, actually, really nice. But again, here we are. No, hang on. Today is Thursday. Wednesday we had a very nice day, and then Thursday here we are, the very next day. And it's kind of grey and cool, just the way it is. Similar to the UK, I think. Never really consistent for a number of days.
Four seasons in one day.
Indeed, yeah, indeed. Yeah, but anyway, there we are. It's also been a busy week for us. Of course, we started our Stockbox Live premiere. We've started that up again. But we had that out last night, a graphite special. And I know we're going to be covering Blencowe today, who, of course, are also quite advanced on their graphite project. They were actually mentioned last night with regards to the government funding and getting involved with compelling projects around the world. So we're going to talk about Blencowe, also Oxford Cannabinoid and Altona Rare Earths, who have been a bit active recently with some new projects. I know you interviewed Cedric this week on that. So who would you like to take first, Alan?
Well, let's start with Blencowe. I think following on from the graphite theme from the Stockbox premiere last night, it's a good point to look at Blencowe and really what is an astonishingly potent investment case. Now, we've been working with Blencowe for some years, and going back to 2020. In fact, 2019, the company reversed or RTO'd into Consolidated African Resources, which was at that point the 100% owner of the Cross graphite project in Uganda. And this is the size of the license area is huge. It's about 2,000 square miles. And as we often find with these projects, you've got this vast piece of terrain which contains the mineralization that you've been looking for. Where do you start? So some years ago, the team identified a high-grade zone. This is for jumbo flake graphite, and literally in parts, I was told, I spoke to Cameron Pearce, the chairman, and of course Mike Ralston, the chief executive, who I've interviewed several times, and they were talking about flake graphite literally sticking out of the ground, so you could drive a tractor and hoe across it and bring this stuff out. So, but of course, to get from there to producing a product that is suitable both for use in batteries and use in steel, in smelting and the other multitude of applications that graphite has. There are a series of steps required to get there, and that involves, of course, huge amounts of testing, huge amounts of trialing. And what Blencowe have done is, as the asset has evolved, they have shipped off bulk ore samples for testing in various places around the world. What is particularly encouraging about the story, though, is that the potency of the Cross project has not only been recognized by major shareholders. So, for example, Jangada Mines holds 10% of the company. JUB Capital holds 8%. RAB Capital also holds 11.3%. And through a number of fundraisings over the past couple of years, they have always topped up their holdings to maintain their shareholdings. And that, to me, speaks volumes for the quality of the asset. But last year, the company announced that it had received a 5 million technical assistance grant from the Development Finance Corporation. That's the USDFC, which is basically a US government body. So the DFC grant has been paid out in tranches, and we have just heard yesterday from the company that the third tranche of $1 million has been received from the company. And Orem Cross is the first graphite project in the world to be financed by a US government grant. So let's that really draws a line in the sand before anything else. It's also non-diluted to shareholders, which is incredible. But in addition to that, in January this year, Cameron Pierce, the chairman, was talking about the further work they're going to be doing with the DFC, and the company signed a letter of intent, or they've received a letter of intent from the DFC to provide financing support to build Orem Cross into a producing mine, and it's in that regard, it's the company's lead mandated partner. So not only have we got this technical assistance grant going forward, the company is now looking at providing, or the organization is now looking at providing further funding down the road. And of course, what that will do, it will lock in the USA as a preferred offtake partner. But the company really at this point has progressed, and we're now underway on the DFC. The company currently has a JORC resource estimate of 24.5 million tons at 6% total graphite content. But this area, remember I spoke about the size of the area, it represents about 2% of the license area drilled to date. So if the rest of the license area is churning out graphite of the quality that we've seen to date, then it's going to be a vast ongoing project that will be giving for generations. So it's absolutely huge. So we've seen several broker notes published on behalf of the company, and indeed we had a note from First Equity last year, and First Equity reported that it had an NPV, or there was an estimated NPV 10, a valuation of $185.7 million, which is up 46% on the broker's previous estimate. So with the number of shares in issue and the number of shareholders, they've projected a 73 pence price target, up from 59p. Now, we add on to that in February this year, the company, so you've got the DFC grant that goes directly into the project. Then we have the company raising its own money. So it raised £400,000 at 5p a share, and also a further £2.5 million from an African strategic investor, also at 5p per share. And Mike Rowson, the chief exec, said at that point, it's a testament to Orem Cross's quality that we can always raise money in what has been an exceptionally difficult marketplace. So just let us think in. So they've just raised £3 million. They've got a USDFC grant. They've just drawn down the third tranche of $1 million. There's another $2 million to go. They have an agreement with the USDFC, a letter of intent from the USDFC to provide further financing support to build the Orem Cross mine. And here we are still at 4.5p. We're not even at 5p where the money was raised. Now, either the market's broken, which a lot of people are saying it is, or there is tremendous upside that will kick in probably as we're on the home run towards getting that mine built. But either way, I think longer term, Blencowe probably, if you're into the graphite space, it offers, I think, a more mature and advanced project in graphite, with the support of the US government, DFC, with the support of a major investor in Africa. It offers really, I think, greater potential than any other company in this space right now.
Excellent. Good. I mean, there's not many real plays, are there, for graphite either? I mean, obviously we did our special last night, and there was three companies there. Obviously, Sovereign got quite advanced, obviously, with the interest, minority shareholder for 15% from Rio Tinto there, but really, getting involved on the activity. Blencowe, of course, with more advanced jumbo flakes as well, sitting on surface, as you say, on the US government interest. Panther very much at the early stage, and also, to be fair, Marula at the early stage, but wanting to do a bit more of a fast track process. So graphite, we were saying last night, it's not the kind of the most sexiest of commodities, but it sort of takes up 40 to 50% of what goes into a lithium-ion battery.
Exactly,
so it's actually it's more than the lithium. So maybe it's maybe that commodity is a good one to look at, really, going forward. It probably is. And you pick the good projects with the nice big jumbo flakes that have got interest from the majors.
Well, I think that's the thing with the project. So that JORC estimate is from just less than 2% of the total license area. So they can go on and repeat ad infinitum. Obviously, they'll have surveyed the area so they know where the quality or the high grade spots are. But the fact is that they're at this point. They've raised £3 million for the company to develop the DFC and other stuff. They've got this $5 million technical support grant from the US DFC and the prospect of further financial support from the DFC when it gets to building the mine. So in a sense, the product's been proved up, the quality of the graphite has been proved up. We're on a home run. So if you're looking at this space, it might be an unloved space at the moment, but I think all of the elements are in place that we'll see a massive re-rating for Blencowe Resources in the very distant future. I should have said at this point, I'm also a shareholder in Blencowe as well, so I do have a bias there. But I think any investor looks at all the facts here. It's a compelling argument.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you, Alan, for bringing us up to speed on Blencowe. So, shall we carry on with the miners first? Do you want to do Altona?
Indeed, yeah. Let's carry on with Altona. So, of course, I spoke to Cedric Simonet, as you say, earlier this week. Mark spoke with him live in Mozambique, and of course, that's where the company are based. And along with other miners, the company's share price has had a pretty torrid year, but we're seeing perhaps a turn in fortunes. We've seen the share price pop up off year lows of 0.8p up to 1.66p. It's a tiny market cap, just 1.3 million. But the company, of course, are cornerstoned by the Monte Moambi rare earth project in Mozambique. And this is a project that Cedric, as a geologist and former chief ops officer, has had a lot of involvement with over the years. It was also previously a fluorspar mine as well. But the company's gone through various hoops, now owns through the structured acquisition process. It now owns 51% of the project in total with its partner. They've established a maiden JORC mineral resource estimate of 13.6 million tons at 2.42% total rare earth oxides, and of course that is highly significant, for the company, and really cornerstones the investment proposition. There's also a high grade zone there too, which where there's 11.5 million tons at 2.41% total rare earth oxides, and it's a potential tier one asset. We've spoken about rare earths before. Of course, at the start of this week, we saw European Green Transition IPO on the London market, raised £6.5 million from institutions and a further £500,000 from retail investors. IPO'd at 10p, shares now 12p. And one of the projects the company owns is the Ulstrom Rare Earths project in Sweden. And there's a lot of information on that. So rare earth projects are very much in focus at the moment. And I think the quality of this asset, again, there's going to be a revaluation in the markets at some point. But also with this mineral resource estimate, the company has added new dimensions to its offering this year. At the start of the year, it announced it had acquired the Kabompo South copper project in Zambia, and this is in the Central African Copper Belt. It's also close to the Zambia Copper Belt, or it's just to the west of there as well, which is a key area for mines. But the Kabompo project is surrounded by previous mines, producing mines, and it's all about copper. So we've talked many times, Mark, about critical minerals lists. Both in the US, Australia, the UK, and of course Europe. Copper is a key constituent. For instance, with your average car nowadays, if you've got an internal combustion car, copper takes an average of 23 kilograms, or provides an average of 23 kilograms of copper per car. With an electric vehicle, that jumps up to 85 kilograms. So again, demand is huge for copper. There is a supply squeeze at present. The price is rocketing higher. So what Altona has done very cleverly, it's aligned itself with these projects and is progressing these projects. And of course, early this week, we heard from Cedric and the team. They've most recently acquired the Sasana project in the highly prospective Kalahari Copper Belt in Botswana. And of course, we know a number of operators there already. Ben Turney, of course, with Blencowe Resources, they're making good progress with the Karakubis license there. And also, of course, Paul Johnson, previously with Metal Tiger, they developed the Mateo mine, and that's now owned by Sandfire, to whom the company sold the asset to, producing copper mine. So the Kalahari Copper Belt is absolutely rife with opportunity, and for Cedric and the team at Altona to be able to secure some real estate on this piece of land is a real coup, and the market has recognised that. So of course we're seeing these acquisitions being made. So Altona is broadening its investment proposition, and this is starting to reflect in the share price. But I think as the team develop these assets and we find out what's under the ground, both at Kabompo in Zambia and also at Sasana in the Kalahari Copper Belt, we're going to see a further value add to the share price, and of course the company sort of as it stands. But let's not forget, this is all cornerstone by Monte Moambe Rare Earths project, and I think as Ursula von der Leyen said, they anticipate in a few years' time the demand for rare earths is going to be 5 times or many times that of many times that the demand for oil and conventional old school energy assets. So I think the future's bright for rare earths, and Monte Moambe is a long way down the road in terms of its validation as an asset, and of course the grades that the company are going to take out of the ground. So 1.3 million with 2 copper assets and a cornerstone rare earth asset. I think Altona offers great value at these levels.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Alan. And it is nice to see, of course, Altona getting extra projects in, as you just told us about just there. Because although the rare earths I'm really bullish on rare earths going forward. They're perhaps just not, again, maybe like graphite, they're just not that sexy yet, but I really think they're going to become very sexy in the future. But of course, copper, everyone knows copper, tried and tested over centuries, whereas rare earths are a bit like graphite as well, new. But I think the fact that Altona have got these extra projects here is really going to help perhaps bring some flag waving, or perhaps bring some eyes onto the company as a whole. And they keep motoring on with their main asset, Monte Moambe, and hopefully rare earths will become more attractive to investors. But it's good to have more than one project in the bag, isn't it? Just to make sure you're spreading your risk as well. So great place to get it as well in the KCB. I mean, I thought all the land was taken up there, but apparently there's some left.
Well, I think that's, I said that to Cedric yesterday. You were lucky to secure a piece of land there. Really, because
Mm,
the Kalahari Copper Belt is renowned around the world. And
yeah.
we're seeing operators there and active mines. So yeah, they've done very well to get there. And of course, as we know, Botswana is a very benign environment. Very pro mining. Lots of opportunities there. So that it's a real coup by Cedric and the team to actually secure a piece of territory there. So yeah, wish them all the best.
Indeed, indeed. Well, let's finish off with Oxford Cannabinoid then, Alan. But just before we start, I'm just going to...
Yeah, that's right. All right.
So
Super.
yes, over to OCT then, Alan.
OCT, Mark. So, of course, we've spoken about OCT on a number of occasions. And, again, the company share price has taken a battering during the year. And we're just trading on year lows now at 0.33 of a pence, which gives the company a derisory market cap of 3.58 million. But cannabinoid, of course, is it's very much the new generation medicine going forward. OCT are targeting this huge market. It's a 1.8 billion global market for trigeminal neuralgia. And the company has a number of programs running, but they've been the company's been around for some time. They've been developing a range of next generation cannabinoid medicines since 2017. And these are they through the research they've recognized that cannabinoid molecules interact with cannabinoid receptors that are produced by human beings as endocannabinoids and other mammals and plants, which are called phytocannabinoids or PCBs. The cannabinoid molecules basically react with these receptors to deal with and reduce pain. And I think the efficacy of cannabinoid treatments and CBD, of course, we've spoken about before as well, are well documented in regard to dealing with pain. But OCT have developed a series of products. OCT 461201 is program one, targeting neuropathic and visceral pain. Program two, of course, is OCT 130401, which targets trigeminal neuralgia. Then we have a number of other programs which are also looking at various aspects, including program four, which of course targets cancer and oncotherapy. Or is an alternative to oncotherapy. So throughout the year, the company has worked to one of the biggest challenges faced by any company of this size, of course, is securing funding. And indeed, the company was able to secure early this year a 1.2 million in fundraising. In fact, it received 565,000 in a convertible loan note from Canthian Capital, who are specialist investors into this field, and also a further £640,000 from existing shareholders. And of course, this is a big step forward for the company, and secures the future certainly for this year. And after the money was raised, Edison Research published a note on the group. Said that it's been a challenging year. Tight funding conditions have halted clinical progress, but along with this fundraise, of course, the company also secured a tax rebate, an R&D tax rebate of 1.3 million. So this really provides the funding to develop and revive activity. And Edison estimate that this capital injection will support the runway extension into quarter 4 of this year. And on the back of that, they have a valuation of 25.3 million or 2.6p per share, versus the current 0.33 pence. Now, this is a huge pain market we've established, or a huge global market for pain we've established. And in the developments from phase 1, of course, we've seen the company build and develop the program 1, which of course is following the phase 1 clinical trial. It delivered a detailed amount or a decent amount of safety data. And of course, this is always the challenge for companies going forward as they're developing a product. They have to try it on patients, and the safety data that comes back is as important as the end result of the treatment. So the company also set out its stall, very much seeking to advance the second asset, which of course is the trigeminal neuralgia asset. And hot off the press as we're speaking, Mark, we've heard today that the company has signed a deal to develop trigeminal neuralgia with a partner called Ingenue, and that company is going to promote the program to trigeminal neuralgia treatment across Australia. So this is a huge validation of the work that the company are doing. And also worth noting with that, I mean, the company, they've appointed another non-exec director, a certain Lord Mott, who served as Lord-in-Waiting at the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office. He's worked at the Department of Energy and Net Zero. He's worked at the Cabinet Office and the Northern Ireland Office. Also served as director at the British Digital Private Markets Association, and was the CEO of the Conservative and Unionist Party. So, this man's got a tremendous political background, and I think he's going to be pivotal in really bringing the case for cannabinoid medicines into the realms of mainstream medicine. You need somebody that has those sort of political connections to keep banging the drum and just get the company further to center stage in regard to potential treatment. So in summary, I think we've got a company that is dramatically undervalued. The company is funded for this year, and I've no doubt that with the developments it's making, we're going to see further funding coming into the group as the year progresses. Also worth noting that Clarissa Silva-Makoko, the chief executive, and chairman or chairwoman Julie Pomeroy, both bought shares at 0.45p recently. Again, that's further endorsement from the board, and I'm sure we're going to see further progress from the group going forward, and we look forward to the next steps.
Well, thank you very much, Alan. Yes, it's nice to see that announcement there from them that they will be hopefully soon starting those phase 1 trials with that new partner over in Australia. So that's the second program they'll be getting into clinical trials. So yeah, nice to see things advancing with that trigeminal neuralgia treatment. So we'll see how phase 1 goes, and of course with Programme 1 as well, and how the trials are going over there. But thank you very much for covering those companies today. That's Oxford Cannabinoid Technologies, Altona Rare Earths, and Blencowe Resources.
Thank you, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like, or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.